just gonna keep gently picking at it and hopefully get it all out. And I think there's another little spot still here on the elbow. Let's see. But I got it disconnected from the armpit mat, so now it'll be easier. And then I can also switch between the two if I feel like this is bugging her too much or the position of her leg is too much. I can move over to her elbow. Yeah. So they get used to it, and if you're, if you're working with a dog that's used to being brushed, they don't really mind it, even with a little bit of this mat like this, as long as you're careful and just not, sticking something in there and yanking on it. I've seen groomers do that, and it just makes me cringe. Or they get in there with one of those mat splitters and just yank through it and cut it in half, which gets it out really fast, but it also has a tendency to hurt the dog and majorly damage the coat. And this one may be to the point to where I'm going to have to take some scissors to it and split it a little bit, because it's feeling like this is all mashed up together too much. But we'll see. Keep working at it. And I'm going to go ahead and break down and use my slicker brush and see if that'll work. Now the slicker brush has a tendency to cause irritation, and it has a tendency to damage coat a little bit, so that's why I resort to it as little as possible when brushing really long coat. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to cut this mat in half. So the lesson I will take away from that is that I am not going to use that product that I used earlier in the week to brush this armpit mat out, because I have a feeling that it's added to the problem. And I thought it was going to help. It didn't. Alright, so I'll go back here to the elbow, work on that a little bit, give her a break, because I can't lose this elbow hair. The armpit hair is a little less worrisome because it's underneath, and it generally doesn't cause a major issue with the profile if you have to do some cutting under there. But you have to be really careful about it and try to take out as little coat as possible. I know you're bored. She's only about 10, I think she might be almost 11 months old now, so she gets bored easily. If she doesn't fall asleep, she gets like antsy-pantsy to do something. So we'll probably have to do a lot of cutting with this video. We won't have to do like, the whole thing. this, you're going to lose a little coat no matter what you do. But you just try to lose as little as possible. Like I've got some on the other, little bit on the other side too, just getting started. So I'm gonna move her schedule up to every 3 days. She's gonna be thrilled about that. Alright, so there's kind of a hole in the center of it right here, and that's what I'm gonna cut. So we'll hopefully lose as little bit of coat as possible. And I won't be getting skin. So I can see her skin underneath there. So what I've done is I've now created 2 mats, and that cutting will hopefully make it so that it will come out a little bit easier. So that's the second thing that I try. So if I move her up to every 3 days, hopefully this won't happen again. We're just going to end up losing this little piece here. Okay, I know you're bored. I hear ya. Okay. So now we have what's essentially just the hair up inside the armpit. There's nothing connected to the elbow or the inside or the outside of the leg. If you're going to do this, always make sure that you can see and that there's no mat right next to the skin. So you can come in and just do that, cut the mat in half. If it's right next to the skin, you can't do that. You absolutely will have to shave it, because if you stick scissors in there, you're going to slice them wide open. I always cringe when I see these videos of people grooming their own dogs sometimes at home, and they get the scissors out and they just go like that, and I freak out. So you can see her skin there. Just make sure that you don't get too close. And then it's not bald in there. It's not, you're not making a big hole, because you've got all this hair that's attached to the leg and all this hair up here that's attached to the chest and the underside. So you're not making a hole. But if I had cut that stuff off of her elbow, when she's dry and standing up, you would be able to see it. And we just can't do that. Not when you're doing a show dog. So that's how you do that. Now, what you can do is, if it becomes a regular problem, no matter what, you can keep the hair this short in the armpit area. You can either trim it out with, when she's upside down like this, with thinning shears or whatever, but just make sure that you're not getting into your elbow or any of the leg hair. You're just getting the armpit hair. And then you won't see that from the outside. Ta-da! And we didn't hurt her. She got impatient, but we didn't hurt her. As you can see, she's falling asleep now. This is kind of her usual when we're brushing. And I have a tendency to brush her completely while she's wet. And then she doesn't really care to be dried when she's laying down for some reason. Most of the cockers that I get from Lindy, they just lay down and fall asleep while I dry them. But for whatever reason, it's not her favorite thing to do. So I make her lay down when I'm brushing so I can get all her little areas and pieces and parts. But if lying down and getting dried upsets her that much, I don't really make her do it. I tried a couple times and she was just like, I don't like this. Like, okay, fine. You don't have to. But you do have to get brushed. So. And sometimes you'll find little tangles back here. But not like you get in armpits and stuff. Mostly this is just from them going to the bathroom and getting a little pee on themselves or whatever. And it generally comes out a whole lot easier.